Well, good evening. This is Hound Dog Steve coming to you on the 30th of January, which is a Tuesday evening. And this is most definitely a 100% webbot hit predicted by Clif High in the last two crypto reports that blockchain, Bitcoin and digital currencies would break into the mainstream media in a way which we have never seen before. Okay, so my first story is OMAS wades further into blockchain with Ethereum deal. So this is it, my friends. Ethereum is just about to take a freaking moonshot. OMAS is the giant pension fund. Basically covers all of the civil servants' pensions in Ontario. I don't know where else that they do pensions for, but they are a monster company and they're looking at getting into Ethereum. Okay, so they're going to build a platform based on Ethereum called Ethereum Capital. And this Ethereum Capital is going to take advantage of all of the investing that comes from altcoin investment. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this for you. Ontario pension giant OMAS is pushing further into the rapidly expanding cryptocurrency businesses through the creation of an Ethereum-focused public company that is planning to raise $50 million. The pension fund, the first in Canada to invest sizable amounts into Canada's technology sector following the 2008-2009 recession, has already made a handful of small bets on cryptocurrency or blockchain-related companies. Its latest move is an attempt to build a meaningful business around a platform known as Ethereum, which was invented by Canadian Vitalik Buterin. The company it is backing will be called Ethereum Capital, and it is being partly financed by Purpose Investments, a fund management firm led by industry veteran Sam Seif, and originally partially owned by OMAS. Mr. Seif will be chairman and co-chief investment officer of Ethereum Capital, which is aiming to raise $50 million from investors to become a public company through a reverse takeover of a TSX venture shell company. Interesting point. We believe in the long-term future of the blockchain as the technology that will be underpinning businesses, and we are optimistic about the technologies associated with it, said John Ruffalo, executive manager and director of OMAS Platform Investments arm. Now that is an incredible thing to say. And of course, what this is going to start resolving is banks refusing to accept Bitcoin, because all of these companies now are going to start using blockchain technology, and I'm going to show you a couple of more articles in a second once we get through this. But you can see that OMAS is just the beginning, because what's happened with a lot of these pension companies, they are now basically underfunded. Okay, because remember back in the 90s, you know, when the dot-com investments were going on, and they had predicted 7 to 10% yield per annum going on into the distant future. And of course, then we had the dot-com bursting bubble, and now we are into almost a permanent position of low interest rates. Well, you know, although this is great for investors in buying companies and so on and so forth, borrowing to do that kind of stuff, that's great. However, it has absolutely trashed pension companies. And many of the pension companies in the US, municipal pension funds, are teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. Okay, so to have an opportunity to invest where they can make back some of these losses. So what this article is telling you, if you read between the lines, and not, of course, so between the lines about how the blockchain is going to be our future. Okay, so now we know that one of the biggest retirement companies, and these are safe investors, they cannot afford to invest in real risky bets. So one of the safest investment groups is now picking up on blockchain technology and altcoins and cryptocurrencies. Secondly, because they have invested in this and they are absolutely desperate for cash, what they're also telling you is that they see a long-term increasing yield from cryptocurrencies. So hang on to your hats. Many of these crypto coins are going to disappear, just like the dot-com companies disappeared. And one of the reasons for that is, you know, there's two things going on here. There's actually a blockchain-based coin, and there is just a simply database coin, which is hijacking the word blockchain and using that to promote itself. So what I'm going to do is link in the show notes below is an interesting little documentary by James Corbett, and it is called The Bitcoin Psy-Op. And he goes through some of this stuff, and there is actually a great little clip in there, and this chap is talking about, you know, when you read through the prospectus of a company and you can replace blockchain with database, then you know that this is a BS company, and you are not going to see the kind of almost miracle accounting shifts that the blockchain is going to create in our world. You know, we're already looking at wiping out actually hundreds of thousands of jobs in the financial sector, in the legal sector, and in the accounting sector. These jobs are suddenly going to be done away with because the magic of the blockchain really eliminates fraud. And what an awful lot of accounting work is you know, accurate posting and an attempt to eliminate fraud. But of course, you know, that's not possible because we've had situations. Actually, there was a funny little situation not so long ago where this company got busted for defrauding. I forget who. I think maybe was it Apple they were defrauding. Anyway, what this company had realized was that the accounts receivable and accounts payable departments didn't communicate very well with each other. So one received them, processed them, and handed over to the other department. And so what they were doing was billing for legal fees. Okay, and of course, you know, a company like Apple has many legal fees, whether it's searching or defending or representing or so on and so forth. So a lot of this slipped under the radar. Anyways, the reason they got caught was because they used an old joke name, do we cheat them and how? Do we cheat them and how? And so somebody picked up on that, and the company got caught red-handed. Okay, so I'm going to hand you over to my alter ego, and we're going to look at a couple of clips on the computer, and I think you will be staggered by the implications of what you are about to see, and the fact that cryptocurrency has gone mainstream, and that companies are realizing that they can issue coins. It won't take long before companies realize they can issue their own coin built on Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin on a blockchain platform, and you can use that platform and transpose it into the requirements that you need for your particular company, and then you will sell your coin direct to the customer. No more stock market, no more investing that way. Now, if you like a particular corporation and you think that they have merit, you will buy their coin, and they will pay dividends on that coin depending on how well they do. But yes, this will be a direct investment from the investor to the corporation. Now, are you starting to get excited about Bitcoin and why I've been ranting and raving about Bitcoin for years now? I am right into cryptocurrencies. I've been following Bitcoin almost since its inception, when Max Kaiser was ranting and raving. You know, Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert, the Kaiser Report, absolutely brilliant money show on RT. I would recommend that to anybody. And so anyway, here we go. I'm going to show you these clips. And what do we have here? Kodak to ride the Bitcoin wave with crypto miner and own currency. Not content to miss out on yet another massive online trend, Kodak has revealed its plans to embrace blockchain and cryptocurrency in a big way. Kodak is known as the company that failed to look into the future and embrace the mass digitalization of photography, but it clearly has no intention of falling into a similar trap. At CES 2018 in Las Vegas, the company revealed its plans to ride the cryptocurrency wave with the creation of its own coin, Kodak Coin. The intention is to use blockchain technology to build a ledger of copyright ownership of photos online. According to the BBC, the accompanying Kodak One software would be used to search the web to find photographs that have been used without permission outside of the blockchain, whilst photos that are used correctly would see the photographer paid in Kodak Coin. Kodak has always sought to democratize photography and make licensing fair to artists, said Kodak's chief executive Jeff Clark. These technologies give that photography community an innovative and easy way to do just that. And again, you know, here is another important little line. You see, you get these gems. You just get these absolute gems. And here is another one. Blockchain industry is not a bubble. So there you go. They're telling you it's not a bubble. Do not listen to your government. Your government and the banks are scared to death of Bitcoin and blockchain, and they're going to try and put you off. Now, do you remember when 3D printing first came on stream? Okay, and the first thing that you heard about 3D printing was, oh yeah, you can print a gun and everyone's gonna shoot their neighbor. Because, you know, we're so dumb and stupid in the public that is all we could think of doing, was printing a plastic gun and shooting our neighbor. Well, of course, this has now become like a parroting exercise. So every time you hear the government come out with these absolutely ludicrous scare tactics, you now know that it is just exactly that, fear-mongering and scare tactics, because it's good for you and bad for them. So here you have a large corporation telling you blockchain industry is not a bubble. Perhaps the biggest talking point was Kodak's plan to rent out cryptocurrency mining machines as the thirst for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies rages on. The Kodak Cash Miner will be run by a licensee called Spotlight and is reportedly far cheaper to run than a standard mining rig at 0.04 cents per kilowatt hour. Now that is cheap, 4 cents per kilowatt hour. The rig would be rented out for a period of 24 months with an upfront payment of $4,000, which Spotlight's Halston McHale said would see the users return a profit of approximately $500 per month. So that's going to give you $6,000, right? So you pay $4,000 and you get $6,000 worth of Bitcoin back. Well, you know, if Bitcoin goes up, then you make out, don't you? As of now, the company has only 80 miners already reserved, with another 300 on the way. In response to questions over a long-term lease on a volatile area such as cryptocurrency, McHale said that the underlying technology will remove much of the risk. Bitcoin could be a bubble, but the blockchain industry is not a bubble, McHale said. It's a solid platform built on mathematics and it will survive. Well, it remains to be seen if Kodak can bounce back after its collapse in 2012 when it began selling off most of its intellectual property. The immediate reaction from the stock market has been very favourable, with shares trading more than 130% above the opening price after announcement. And of course this story is even more interesting This is from Toronto. Okay, cities should consider accepting cryptocurrency for property tax payments. Councillor. One Toronto City Councillor says the city should consider letting residents make payments for things like property taxes using cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin could also be used to pay for land transfer taxes, parking violations and even utilities, Scarborough Agincourt Councillor Norm Kelly said in a news release issued Monday. Kelly said plans to ask the city about the new payment options at the next City Council meeting on January the 31st. Hundreds of thousands of companies around the world have been accepting cryptocurrencies as a form of payment for quite a while now. Why shouldn't governments also take advantage of this? Kelly said in a written statement accompanying the news release. City of Toronto is a world-class city and a leader in technological innovation, so it only makes sense that we should be one of the first to look into this potential. So this is certainly breaking out into the public. It is legitimizing Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and blockchain architecture, and it is also going to pave the way for institutions to accept Bitcoin as cash. This can only be good. So as I say, folks, hold on. It's going to be a wild ride in 2018. Okay, so now you see what an absolute web-bot hit this is. And of course I was listening to an interview recently with Clif High, and he said that because there's so much more data out there now, with tweets and websites and comments and all of this kind of stuff, and all these new platforms like BitChute and Steemit and Patreon, there is a lot more data to draw from, and from that data he is being able to create more accurate reports. And really, as far as cryptocurrencies has gone, Clif has been absolutely spot on. And so here we are at the end of the month, and I've been checking his website on a regular basis because he has promised another report. I didn't do the last report because it was pretty much the same as the one before. Not a lot had changed. He said a lot of the currencies were basically going to do what they have been doing, which is retrenching and just sort of going backwards and forwards. And I mean, Bitcoin has kind of languished between 10,000 and 12,000 now for about 2 or 3 weeks, which these days, certainly in politics, seems like a lifetime, doesn't it? So anyways, that's my report on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. And so I am hoping that you are all opening an account, a crypto account. I've just opened an account with CoinSquare. This is a Canadian crypto account, and for purchasing cryptocurrencies. And I'm in the process of hooking that up to my bank account so I can actually deposit money in my bank account through that. But the buy of the century. Now I got to preface this is not financial advice. This is just what I am doing. But the buy of the century is Litecoin. Okay, Charlie Lee is hooking up Litecoin to Lightning processors, which will allow atomic swaps, which are almost instantaneous swaps between other currencies, I believe. And we are waiting on an announcement from Amazon.com that they will be accepting Litecoin as a means of settlement. And when that happens, my friend, Litecoin, it will achieve God status overnight to hook up with a company like Amazon.com. But again, the more companies that buy into this, we've heard that Facebook is going to be creating their own coin. As you saw, Kodak. These companies are going to catch on like lightning because it costs you a fortune to go through the stock market to have these offerings and so on and so forth. And here you can track your entire stock and eliminate all fraud and just about all of your accounting personnel that handles it, because you really only need to have a few people at the top managing it. The rest of the program or the algorithm does all the work for you. So there's very little maintenance. Once this is set up and in place, there is very little labor required to keep it functioning. So this is a huge saving. You are going to see probably a huge drop in the cost of technology through this because of the elimination of labor. What that's going to do to the economy, of course, because we're all in balance. You know, if people are laid off, then they're now earning less, so they're spending less. So maybe this is offset by the reduction in the cost of technology. We really don't know. I mean, in so many words, we are in no man's land. Okay, we are in unknown territory. We've never been here before, and so there are going to be twists and turns up ahead, I'm absolutely certain, but you can rest assured that I will be keeping you posted on all of the things that I am watching throughout crypto space. Okay, so this is Hound Dog Steve signing off. I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. So please, if you did, like and subscribe below. And don't forget to click on that little bell, and then you'll get all of the updates. And please do leave a comment if you have any thoughts or input on this subject. I am just fascinated to hear. And you take care and have a great evening. See you now. Bye.